Hey, yo, you ready, Keys?
Let's get it.
Get on your feet, Tiger fans. Let's get loud. Let's go. Let's get active.
Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, Be Easy.
It's your boy V-KEYZ, and this is the You
You
Played
played
Though
though
podcast.
podcast. All right, man.
Yes, sir.
In the studio dolo today, man. Keys a little under the weather, man. But we gotta get it in
Yeah,
for the fans, man.
yeah. I'm kind of out of it right now, man. But any way we can get it in to get to our listeners, get to the fan base, and get to the Clemson community, man. We got to get it in, man, because we got a big game this week.
Big game this week, man. And we're gonna touch on that, man. It's the Textile Bowl. We're playing a well-known opponent. It's gonna be our first ACC opponent. So no wins, no losses in the ACC right now for us. I think it's the same story for the Wolfpack. And I think they got a freshman quarterback that's going to be starting in that game. And we got the opportunity to have a nice, well-needed week off. We got some players that are nicked up. And Keys, I think one of the ones that's probably most important is Peter Woods, man. That Dabo said that he's been day to day, but he's been out there every day at practice. So hopefully he can start in this game, man.
Yeah, and that's the Dabo term right now with Peter and Tyler Brown is he's day to day, so he might play on the day that ends with a Y.
Yeah,
So yeah, hopefully we can get Peter back. Um, or maybe if not, maybe if we're able to be fortunate enough to hold them and let Demonte K part let them young guys shine. But it's I always got to see number 11 out there. I always want to see him out there on the field. He's a difference maker.
yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about it on the last pod. That game against Appalachian State, we really opened up the playbook. We had, of course, our defense. They always show up, but offense really came out to play. Um, and a lot of the freshmen, man, I think it was really evident that Dabo let the freshmen turn them loose. We've had a lot of juniors and seniors that just kind of really wasn't getting the job done um, to the level of which we expect, especially, with this new college landscape, man. If you're not blowing out teams that you should beat by 40, 30, 40 points, then you're not really going to get respected in that ranking. So um,
Right.
I think that, it possibly could be another big game for our freshmen, man. What are you looking for TJ Moore and and Wesco in this game?
I look for more of the same from the App State game. Just getting them involved early and often. And I would say, speaking of upperclassmen, that's been kind of disappointment. Adam Randall he hasn't kind of played up to his billing. I mean, he's had a couple catches, but I mean, if we're looking for a star, I mean, we clearly saw that last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Fresco and TJ has some great size. Cole Stout made a great catch. Um, yeah. So for the young cats, man, I
Turner,
expect them to.
was that a shot at Cole Stout or was
Uh, no, I
man?
said Cole Turner. My bad if I said Stout. I meant Cole Turner
Yeah.
had a good catch downfield. Um, but yeah, I would say let's try to get Brian and TJ involved early. And as you saw when we did, that just opened up the running game, and Martha had all kind of lanes to run in. So
Definitely.
uh,
Definitely. I like that type of play. I like us opening up the playbook and kind of stretching our legs and really getting the players that we need to show up later out in the season some good experience because like we said, we played Georgia first game, number one team in the country. We probably didn't have the best game plan going into that game, utilizing all of the talent that we have on this team. We've had some former players come out. Um, D Hop, he posted on
yeah,
Instagram, "Hey, there's too many weapons for us to only have 3 points," and he's right. So, App State game really kind of set the table. And looking at this, looking towards NC State, I believe we're favored by 20 or so. Um,
yeah, that's strong out
yeah,
the gate. We picked about 20, and I couldn't even tell you last time we was favored by that much against North Carolina State. So obviously that's telling you something. We did touch on it briefly that they are starting a true freshman quarterback, C.J. Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
He got some size on him though, about 6'5". So going back and looking at that Louisiana Tech game, I think he played for the majority of the second half after Grayson McCall went out with an injury.
Yep.
He had 156 in the air. Didn't look too explosive, and they really shut down Concepcion, North Carolina State's best weapon. Louisiana Tech shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can, if we can come out early, stop the run, and for any quarterback, much less a true freshman, for your first start to be Death Valley, ooh,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Dabo, he has a penchant for giving it to first time starters in Death Valley, and I know the defense is gonna be up for that, for the challenge. So I'm looking for 3-4 turnovers from my defense
Yeah. Yeah. It's
this
good.
week.
And I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak too soon, right? Because last year we had some timely losses that we felt we should have won. I think we definitely turned the corner, and we know who our playmakers are. One player that I did not give enough shout out to last pod was Jake Brinstool, man. He's been consistent. He's been that big target, that big tough target that we need. So definitely excited to see what he's able to do. But yeah, it's the Wolfpack, man. They always usually play us tough. We've lost 2 out of the last 3, I believe. Um, and it's just one of those rivalry games that they're going to get up for. So I don't want to
Yeah,
take too much away from them, but like you said, they're starting a freshman quarterback. Death Valley probably isn't the place you want to play as a freshman quarterback coming off a win like we have on from App State. So
the only thing I say is they lucky it's not a night game because it's a different energy for them Death Valley night games. But we got the 12 o'clock high noon game. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing where the offense picks up after 2 weeks. Are we gonna be a little rusty coming off a little bye week, or are we gonna be pick up right where we left off? And Kate, you know, first first 8 drives touchdown. And, of course, we'd love to see that versus everybody, but
mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
I feel pretty solid about how we can come out and approach the game, and I feel good about Wes Goodwin's defensive plan for CJ.
yeah, yeah,
Like, it's not gonna be easy, and like you said, North Carolina State, they beat us 2021 at NC State. We won the next year, 22. They won last year. It was a sloppy game.
mm-hmm.
So, them revenge games for that, but man, the boys be ready. They said we know what happened last year. We're not gonna repeat that,
Yep,
and let's come out here and put our foot down, make a statement, open up conference play.
yep. There we go, man. Let's defense. Let's be dialed in. I know we got some injuries. We talked about them. And there's just an opportunity to get better, right? So just can't wait to see, how we get better each week because we're gonna have. Well, I mean, I would say we got Florida State to play, but we all know how they turned out. We can get into that. Um,
0-3.
0-3, 0-3,
Yeah,
a bad
that's
0-3 too, man. Mike Norvell's got a lot on his plate to deal with, and I don't think their schedule is gonna get any easier. Um,
oh nah, because they were heavily favored. Well, not necessarily heavily, but they're handily favored in all 3 games so far,
yeah,
and they score more than what 13 points.
yeah. I mean,
Last games. So
yeah. A lot of the pundits had them coming out of the ACC hands down. And I know they won the ACC last year. They felt like they got cheated out of the playoffs last year, but if this is any indication on what that was going to be like, I mean, this is DJ's last year, man, and it couldn't go any
yeah,
worse for him. So
well,
they got Cal at 7 o'clock on Saturday. You know, I don't
uh,
even know.
the L because they just beat Auburn at Auburn
Yeah,
kind of unexpectedly. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cal come in there and do the same to Florida State at
yeah,
this point. So, but speaking of 13 points though, just real quick before we dive into our predictions, Georgia put up 13 on Kentucky, 13-12, and it was a night game in Kentucky. Potential trap game. So that's kind of raising some eyebrows down the Athens. Like, is it a concern or not? Georgia squeaked by.
Yep.
Uh,
And
but
with
Bama, they ran away from Wisconsin 42-10, and that, of course, sets up the big showdown. They both have a bye this week, but next week, the 28th, is Georgia at Bama, prime time. So get your popcorn ready. I think it's gonna be one for the books.
yeah, it's definitely evident that it's hard to gauge some of these teams. I don't think Georgia is as strong as they were last year because even though the game against Clemson got really lopsided in the second half, if we really look at it, our offense really wasn't producing. The defense held them to 6 points. I mean, it just kind of they outlasted our defense, right? The defense got fatigued,
Yep.
and that's how they blew it out of the water. And if we look back, Kentucky got the brakes beat off of them by South Carolina.
Yeah, 31-6, which was that came out of nowhere. And I'll give props when props is due. I was wrong about the prediction that LSU would come in there and blow them out because actually the Gamecocks was up 17-0
Mm-hmm.
on LSU at home. So they had game day rocking, and you up 17-0. LSU quarterback was looking soft, and he was just looking scared. So I'm like, okay, so but inevitably LSU came back. There was a questionable blocking call later that the Gamecocks fans don't argue about, but nonetheless, LSU they won 36-33
Yep. And
in a crazy
I'm not one to argue about a Gamecocks loss, right? I'll be the
fact.
first to say we not po mouthing or ain't no watery eyes over here.
Oh,
But
nah.
I will say this: for LSU to play that tight against an unranked opponent and not move one spot in the AP poll, to me is kind of egregious, right? Like
Yeah,
they're not as good as they seem on paper. So that's all I
yeah.
wanted to say about that.
Um, yeah, I mean, because when they played USC to open the season, I mean, I thought both teams looked kind of decent. And so, speaking of USC, they got at Michigan this week, so that could be a big game. But Michigan still having quarterback problems. They kind of skated by Arkansas State, was it? But I think the quarterback got benched in the game or threw some picks, so they have some problems in the big house. So I'm definitely taking USC by a couple scores for that one.
Yeah, I can't remember who Michigan lost to. They're 2-1, but
Yeah, they lost. They lost. They got blown out by Texas at home.
oh, that's right, man.
So yeah,
Is Texas? Is Texas? Are they a dark horse? I mean, I know we felt like they were going to be good. Sarkisian's doing some great things down there, but if we talking about Arch Manning, and I know, they're playing what was US. I can't remember who they were
UTSA.
playing.
Yeah,
But it was a high school team. But man, Arch looked good out there. He looked good throwing the ball.
yeah,
Of course, Quinn Ewers, he got hurt. But I think he's out this next game. But he's not. It's not season ending. But Arch looked good, man, and Clemson could have had him.
yeah. I mean, to say a dark horse, that would be kind of wild because they are number one, the new number one AP,
Mm-hmm.
and they play UL Monroe this Saturday, so that should be another. Yeah, it's easy to hold Quinn out. It's the early part of the schedule because you got the Georgia. You got to get into the SEC schedule coming up. So yeah, and like the way Quinn was looking. I mean, excuse me, the way Arch Manning was looking. That touchdown run he made, I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he might be ready. So he already bolted up on some Heisman lists, but I'm like, slow down. Let him. Quinn is still the guy.
Yeah.
He's playing well, but I think with either quarterback, they have a chance to definitely make the playoffs. So
Yeah. 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 Well, I was gonna say, yeah, you know what that is, man. That's that Manning hype. But you
yeah,
know,
but hey, boy got some wheels on him. I ain't gonna lie. Peyton and Eli ain't had that. They ain't had that kind of burn.
at all. And you know what? When he was running, I was like, he looks athletic, but man, he head and shoulders. If he can do the same thing in the passing game that he's doing in the running game, he is going to be running with Heisman next year whenever he gets his real opportunity. But props to him on staying at Texas. I know they're happy about it. Um, but yeah, so it's definitely getting interesting in college football. You got teams out here that are ranked really high, really good. Like we just said, Georgia wins by a point against Kentucky. They squeak by, right? So it's definitely getting interesting.
Yeah. So that's why conference play is so important. I mean, like I said, even though we're favored by 20, I'm not going to take NC State lightly because it is still the Textile Bowl for us. It's still always been a rivalry game. They beat us last year when we thought we could go in there and win. But this year, we do have the superior talent, and it needs to show up on the field early and often.
Yeah, definitely. So we can talk about the games this week. Of course, we talked about the Textile Bowl, 12 o'clock. Uplayedtho, we talked about it. We definitely wanted to show up and be down there for that one, but we're gonna rest up and possibly head down there for homecoming. We play Stanford the following
Yep,
week. So,
7 o'clock night game in the Valley, baby.
yep, new ACC opponent. Don't know a lot about them per se. Looks like they're a 9-point dog against Syracuse. So if that tells you anything, then
Okay.
we should bowl pretty well in that game. And one thing that's a little misfortunate keys to me is kind of how our ACC counterparts are performing because we don't have a lot of representation in the top 25, right? So I know that's gonna kind of affect some of the voting as they look at strength of conference and things like that. But Louisville is still holding strong at 19. Um,
Yeah. For Miami, I mean, they still haven't played anybody. They just put up 60 on Ball State or something. So
mhm.
they still haven't actually faced a quality team. So we'll see when their first test will be.
Definitely,
So
because as we look at Florida now, the way Florida's playing, I mean, that win don't look as sexy.
nope. And they was
Um,
getting the doors beat off of them by A&M at home this past Saturday. So that they're not. They just don't look like they have a good culture. Good nothing right now down in the swamp.
yeah,
So yeah, that win by the U looks a little shaky right now. But like I said, we'll see. Getting into the meat of their ACC schedule if they'll be challenged
yeah,
by anyone. Um, but what a marquee game this weekend is Tennessee Oklahoma.
yeah.
So that should be a good one. It really should be a good one because we'll get to see how good is Tennessee really 51-10 the good over NC State, or was that just is NC State that bad? You know,
Yeah. So they're a 7-point favorite in that game. I mean, Oklahoma, they're 3-0, undefeated. This is going to be the first SEC game for them. So their first conference game, and like you said, these conference games are gonna hold a lot more weight than they used to, right? Because you want to get that bye week, you want to get that conference title, so you can get that bye week. So
yep.
we'll definitely,
So we can see what our boy Brent V
yeah.
what he got cooking down there in Oklahoma. But yeah, man. So we done talked it up, man. So you want to throw out a prediction for the Saturday, the Textile Bowl, North Carolina State at Clemson? It's like what you thinking?
Yeah, man. So at I remember back at what 20 was it 2013 when Taj Boyd went off, man. I think he had 5 touches in the air. Was it 5 touches in the air, 3 rushing? I think he had like
Yeah,
8 touchdowns that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 5 plus 500 yards. If we can get a performance like that, I know we just kind of had a performance like that. That would be ideal. And I don't want to say that App State is on the level of NC State. I believe they're kind of similar. So what I'm gonna do is say that our defense playing at home, Textile Bowl. We got homecoming next week. I'm gonna say Clemson. Of course, Clemson wins. I'm gonna say 62,
Ooh,
17.
ooh. Okay, you going back-to-back 60s then? Okay,
Back to back 60s.
that would be quite a feat. Um, yeah, like I said before, NC State. I mean, they struggled against Western Carolina and Louisiana Tech, and those are, App State is better than both of those teams. So, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to say I expect the same performance from App State game because I mean, of course, that's wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But if we come out there and get on the roll early, to where we could sit the starters, after the first or second possession in the third quarter, uh, I can see like a 45-17 Tigers, and North Carolina State might get some late scores. Once the bench is in. I mean, of course, I'd love a shutout. That would be great,
Yeah.
but it's North Carolina State. It's a rivalry game, so I'm sure they'll have some game plans to where they can maybe do a little something. But
Yeah.
I'm going 45-17.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tigers.
I'm expecting a little bit of wildcat from them, and a lot of running, simply because they got a freshman quarterback that they're trying to ingratiate into the system. So, I know they're practicing all week, and I think our secondary gonna hold it down. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see. And that's a good point, man. If we get up 40-0, we gonna let off the gas. That's just how Dabo. That's just how Dabo is. I love the fact that he lets some of the backups get in there and get some game reps, because you never know what's gonna happen during the season. Definitely gonna need all hands on deck. So yeah, I'm ready for it, man. I'm excited, Keys.
all right. Hey, I am too. So we got the noon game Saturday. So hopefully, if we don't see you guys in the Valley this Saturday, we'll shoot for the homecoming game versus Stanford on the 28th. So yeah,
Yep.
man, go Tigers, man.
Go Tigers. Yep. And that's a 7 o'clock game. So we gotta come out there and represent for the team, man. Um, you guys, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for tapping in with us. We see y'all engaging with us on the social media platforms, TikTok, definitely on Instagram. Also, if you haven't yet, go to ESPN Charlotte, type in Uplayedtho, and check us out on ESPN Charlotte as well, man. So
Yeah,
with
it's
that, man,
ESPNLT.com, and we're on there. And yeah, man, with that, man, hey, let's
we out.
get it.